Good evening, ji. Good evening, Pradeep ji.
So we are discussing about your book, The Revolutionaries Shed Their Blood for India's Independence, Part 2.
Hmm. Hanji,
Part 1
yes.
we, Part 1 we have discussed, and
Hanji,
now we come to Part 2. So
Hanji,
here the first chapter relates to Lahore conspiracy case
Han-
1930.
Hanji.
So earlier also there was a Lahore conspiracy case, and this is also Lahore conspiracy case. So there must be some difference between the two. So
The first
uh,
Lahore conspiracy related to the Ghazal patriots who had come back from Canada
mhm.
and America to fight the British people to to throw them out of India. It was 1915, and when they had fixed the February 21 as the date when they would call upon the armed forces to revolt against the white masters. But that scheme had failed because some chamchas of the British had entered into the Ghadar leaders. But one message, which is a very important message, which Ghadar patriots had left for us or for the future generations, ਹਿੰਦ ਵਾਸੀਓ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਯਾਦ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਤੇ ਦਿਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਭੁਲਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਖਾਤਰ ਵਤਨ ਦੀ ਚੜੇ ਆ ਫਾਂਸੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਦੇਖ ਅਸਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਬਰਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਮੌਤ ਅਸਾਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਕੌਮ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਫਰਜ਼ ਆਪਣਾ ਅਸਾਂ ਨਿਭਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਯਾਦ ਨੇ ਵਤਨ ਸਪੁੱਤਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ਼ਕ ਵਤਨ ਦਾ ਅੰਤ ਨੂੰ ਲਾ ਜਾਣਾ So in that case, Kartar Singh Srabha was the main figure.
Mhm.
And in the present Lahore conspiracy, Bhagat Singh is the main character.
Okay.
Although many patriots were involved, but Shaheed-e-Azam Bhagat Singh.
Ji. So this case was tried in Lahore.
Yes.
Achha, this was okay.
Haan.
So Lahore was, is it a high court or session court or?
No, it was a special tribunal
Acha.
constituted, and then it was. Firstly, when I went to Pakistan, I was told that possibly a high court bench room was shown to me that Lahore conspiracy case was held in this courtroom. But then when I went for the second time after reading the book, then I came to know that it was not held in Lahore conspiracy case in the high court itself, but it was held in Jammu House in Lahore.
Okay.
Then second time I went to see that room also, that courtroom also.
And what was the judicial system at that time? Was it the same as it is at present?
No. They were special tribunals. They used to consider the special tribunals, and the hurried judgments were delivered, and without appeal. There was no appeal, dalil or appeal. So therefore, those were virtually executive decisions, not of any judicial sanctity.
Acha, so nobody could appeal against that judgment.
Once the tribunal decides the case, that becomes the final almost. And if
Oh.
somebody filed an appeal, that appeal was dismissed on one ground or the other, and the lower court decision was upheld because already severe punishments have been awarded to the uh, revolutionaries. Therefore, there was no need for further amendment or innovation.
So there was no high court or Supreme Court at that time.
There were, High Court was there and Supreme Court was not there. It was known as a Privy Council.
Okay.
Supreme Court is supreme in our country now after independence. At that time, Privy Council was supreme. That was the highest court relating to the matters.
And
Right.
where that was located?
I think it may be located possibly in London or but must be in the country itself. Maybe the central place of capital of Delhi. Capital.
Okay, sir. So this relates to Bhagat Singh ji.
Means
So
many patriots, of which Bhagat Singh was the main figure, main character.
hmm. So what are the main highlights of this second Lahore conspiracy case, 1930?
Pradeep ji, it was like this that Bhagat Singh was uncle of Bhagat Singh, Shaheed Ajit Singh. He was the real uncle of Bhagat Singh. And Ajit Singh was a great revolutionary. He used to address public meetings along with Lala Lajpat Rai and many other, Shabil Das, so many other, Sitaram, many people of Lahore. He used to mingle with and constituted associations to fight
Mhm.
against the British. So it
Mhm.
was in the blood of Bhagat Singh to become a revolutionary. He was
Okay.
born on September 28, yani कि this month 28th date, in
Okay.
1907. And he often used to sing the song Mera Rang De Basanti Chola, Mera Rang De Basanti Chola. जिस चोले को पहन शिवाजी खेले अपनी जान पे, जिस चेले को पहन झांसी की रानी मिट गई अपनी आन से, उस चोले को पहन के निकला हम मस्तों का टोला, माए रंग दे बसंती चोला. This was a particular song which Shahid Azam Bhagat Singh used to sing. But for him, Kartar Singh Srapa was the idol, means main figure, whose photo he used to keep in the pocket. And he
Mhm.
also used the same song which Kartar Singh Srapa used to sing. ਸੇਵਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੀ ਜਿੰਦੜੀਏ ਬੜੀ ਔਖੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਢੇਰ ਸੁਖਾਲੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇਸ਼ ਸੇਵਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈਰ ਪਾਇਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲੱਖਾਂ ਮੁਸੀਬਤਾਂ ਝੱਲੀਆਂ ਨੇ. So he was intermixing with these revolutionary patriots. When the parents found that he is going out of hands, then arranged they thought of marrying him.
Mhm.
It was then ultimately Bhagat Singh didn't want it, but he has a many patronage of teachers like Shabil Das, Professor Jayachand Vidya Lankar. Then in 1924, he ran away to Calcutta.
Mhm.
Then they ultimately, it was Hindustan Republican Association was constituted, its rules and regulations were framed. If this all the rules of this association, they used to ask the younger generation to get up, as we have given in this book last chapter addressed to the students only, because mature people have already formed their opinion of one type or other type. The students are fertile brains, they can adopt the patriotism. So these associations also use the rules were such. Ultimately, Naujawan Bharat Sabha Lahore was also constituted. Same motive was addressed to the younger generations to find to join the revolutionary movement for getting the motherland free from the shackles of Britons.
Mhm.
Once a meeting and after this, Bhagat Singh had gone to Calcutta and then joined many associations. Then all the revolutionaries, they held a joint meeting on September 8th and 9th, 8th and 9th, 1928 in in Firozshah Kotla ground, Delhi. In 1928, in which Bhagat Singh, Batukeshwar Dutt, Bijoy Kumar Sinha, Jitendra Nath Das, Yashpal Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagwati Charan Vora, Rajguru, Mahabir, etc., they participated.
Mhm.
So they were waiting for an opportunity to see when they can do something. They planned here and appointed the state vice presidents or general secretaries, central committees leaders from each state. And the opportunity came when Lala Lajpat Rai, he was leading the delegation for opposing the Simon arrival of Simon Commission in Lahore. That was on 30th October 1928, when Lala Lajpat Rai was leading a great procession towards the railway station to protest against the Simon arrival of Simon. Lathi blows were given by the police, by which sufficient grave injuries were caused to Lala Lajpat Rai also. Ultimately, that led to the death to the martyrdom of Lala Lajpat Rai on November 17, 1928. But that was the turning point in the life of Shahid Bhagat Singh and other revolutionary patriots. Immediately after the uh, martyrdom of Lal Lajpat Rai, they started raising the alarm. Khoon ka badla, khoon ka badla, khoon. Everybody, every revolutionary patriot, it was and they started planning to murder the SP of Lahore. SP of Lahore was Scott. Scott was the SP which they had intended to kill. And Jay Gopal, one of the revolutionaries who later on turned approver, he was assigned the duty to rake up the arrival and departure of Scott from his office to his residence and his residence from to office, etc., on the car which he used to use at that time. So ultimately it was decided the whole planner was Sukhdev. Sukhdev, he was the main planner who ran the planner. Ultimately it was fixed that December 17 would be 1928 would be the date on which they will kill the Scott, SP of Lahore. So Jayagopal was assigned a duty to stand at a particular place and to give a signal by moving his handkerchief right and left to indicate to the people who was sitting behind, to only watching the handkerchief movement of Jayagopal. So Bhagat Singh and and this Rajguru, both were hiding themselves, and they were watching the handkerchief while Chandrasekhar Azad was standing fully armed in the park inside, which was surrounded by the hedge. So then, actually, what happened? Sanders started from his office. When he was at a distance of about 100 yards from his office, Jayagopal moved his handkerchief. He took Sanders as Scott. So immediately, Rajguru he shot at Sanders. It hit the arm, like the left arm of Sanders, and he fell down. And under the he motorcycle fell above him. Then Bhagat Singh and Rajguru both reached near Saunders, and Bhagat Singh pumped a number of bullets in the body of this man, Saunders. And both of them ran towards the DAV college. A street was leading to the DAV college, and on the corner of the street there was a park where Chandrasekhar was standing. A Havaldar came running from the SP office after hearing the noise, and he chased the uh, revolutionary patriots Rajguru and Bhagat Singh. But traffic inspector asked Channan Singh, his name was Channan Singh, he asked Channan Singh, don't rush, don't rush. although traffic inspector also rushed, but he was given a backfire kitab Bhagat Singh, and he fell down in the ditches. But this Chandrasekhar, he fired at Channan Singh, by which Channan Singh fell down dead. Ultimately, both escaped. They had kept their cycles near the DAV school washrooms, and from there they took the washrooms and then ran away. Matlab, they escaped and ultimately they reached the room where they were staying. They were preparing, they had already prepared 3, 4 short notices by writing Scott is dead, Lalaji is dead. As a revenge, Scott is shot dead. Oh, then ultimately they changed the name Scott the VI Sanders, then they changed it Sanders. See, listen the bravery of these revolutionary Pradeep ji. Uh, 17 December 1928, exactly 1 month after the martyrdom of Lal Lajpat Rai, on 18th, the posters were pasted on the walls of Lahore that we have shot dead, Khoon ka badla khoon we have taken. And immediately after the martyrdom of Lal Lajpat country, and there was one lady patriot of Bengal who she was the revolutionary wife of Deshbandhu Chaturjan Das. She gave the slogan, does the youth and manhood of the country still exist? A lady, a woman of the land demands a clear answer. ਵੀ ਐਡਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਸਾਡਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਾਰਤਾ ਤੇ ਹਾਲੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ. That also created a great upheaval in the hearts of the revolutionary patriots. So 18th they pasted the posters, and on 20th Bhagwati Charan Vora had died, and his wife Durga, she was also called known by the name of Durga Bhabhi. On 20th, only 3 days after the murder of Sanders, when the police was searching for the victims, for the criminals throughout the city, and by spreading a net of vigilance, he took Sachinder. He was the son's name of Durga Bhabhi. A Bhagat Singh took Sachinder in his lap, and Durga Bhabhi accompanied him, and this Bhagat Singh wore a hat on his head, and they traveled by second class to Calcutta. See the bravery. These people were, I think, born gods or something, next to gods. So these are the date, and ultimately the press could not be found out by the British for more than 2 months. Till
Mhm.
2 months, there is a letter of exchange given in this book by which not identify the accused in this case.
Mhm.
Ultimately, when they were finding out them, the murderers, but Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar, that they were thinking of some other plans, they kept the pistol and the bombs with them and entered the assembly, which is the present assembly of the Delhi Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay.
That assembly they entered and went to the
Actually,
chambers above,
this assembly is so old.
so old.
Okay.
Hmm. They went above in the in the gallery. When uh, the bill was being presented in the assembly relating to the denial of labor income of the laborers or the salary of the laborers, they threw a bomb. It caused no harm, but small injuries to etc. And then they threw the second bomb also. And everybody, they stood there. The trial of Lahore, this case was Delhi Assembly bomb case. That is also a part of this book. That
Okay.
was then put up for trial, and there Bhagat Singh had made a very detailed statement. The rest we will discuss in the next sitting.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir.